Often swapping her brain with her heart, 90-Day Fiance's Kim Menzies has delivered plenty of eye-rolling quotes in pursuit of her Soja Boy. From a secretary in the U.S. Army during Desert Storm to active duty in Soja Boy's barracks 30 years later, there's no setting into which Kim Menzies won't parachute in the name of love. Bungee jumping from before the 90 days to happily ever after. Viewers can follow her promotion from potential girlfriend to potential sister wife on TLC or Discovery Plus. While Usman, Soja Boy Umar's intentions are often up for debate, Menzies are not, and she's been more than willing to verbalize her gripes and desires in detail. From saying only she would really count in a polyamorous marriage to comparing Usman to the king of pop, Kim's ridiculous sound bites are the result of a woman lying her way to happiness. But we only have this time together, so I really want our sexual relationship to start tonight, she finished. Invited to Zanzibar, Tanzania for Usman's Zara video shoot, Kim made the trek with more than a fan experience on her mind. Determined to prove to her Soja that she was the woman for him, her admission to her friends Alyssa and Vanessa before her departure was eye-opening. "I will bet you two money that by the end of the trip, he will be in my room," she boasted. Set on sex, Kim's intimate urgency was almost immediately an issue as she guilt-tripped Usman for not want to sleep in her room or be physical in their limited time. Saying she's respectful of Islamic culture is comical considering the standing of premarital sex in the faith. Arriving to Tanzania a day before Usman, Kim not only had no concerns over her safety, she almost welcomed altercation. Unbothered by any potential targeting that would arise over being an isolated woman and American tourist, Kim informed producers that she was a trained killer and laughed at the thought of anyone attempting to cross her boundaries. While Kim was a secretary in the military in the 90s, she's now a quarter-century removed from service and navigating her 50s. And though her heart may be taken, her imagined transformation into Liam Neeson should peril arise is dangerous overconfidence. Kim saying she strives to be a live and let go type of person stands in stark contrast to how she came across on the show. The biggest example of this was her incessantly pushing the sex issue with Usman. Not yet in a relationship, Usman wanted to sleep in separate rooms and let their time together build organically. After one night apart and a series of expensive gifts, Kim invited Usman into her suite and proceeded to pressure him until he slept next to her, with a pillow demarcation between them. The same night, Kim again pushed an uncomfortable Umar for intimacy, further proving she wouldn't drop the issue until she won his Congress. Kim booking the honeymoon suite for herself and Usman, before ever having met him while fully aware that he wanted to sleep in separate rooms, set a precedent she never strayed from. Kim was the hunter and Usman was her prize. It didn't matter how desperate she came across or how much of a personal and financial hole she dug for herself back home. She was all in. The next step up from booking a honeymoon suite for a first date, Kim is now back in Nigeria on happily ever after, waiting for the right moment to propose as if she was Usman or Angela Deem herself. Tagging along for a business meeting between Usman and Tanzanian rapper Rosary, Kim had valid fears over being third-wheeled. Curious as to why Usman's associates, Badmus and Slam T, would arrange a meeting with another woman while she was there, Kim was ready to spring into action should any funny business arise. Informing producers that she would go full WWE contract signing mode and flip their table should Usman's smile linger too long, Rosary was fortunately spared Kim's wrath as she calmed her qualms with sweet assurances and kindness over her importance in Usman's life. Usman Umar's ex-wife, Lisa Ham, wasn't one for subtly. A 50-something-year-old American woman, 23 years of Usman's senior, Ham and Umar had little chemistry on 90 Day Fiance, and she constantly found herself fighting her jealousy over Usman's fangirls, despite being one herself, and insistence on children she couldn't bear via another wife. Unlike baby girl Lisa, Kim is an American woman in her 50s, 18 years Usman's senior, that constantly finds herself fighting him over his lack of intimacy and insistence on a second wife to provide children she can't bear. While Kim has repeatedly assured Usman that she'd grant him a second wife strictly to bear his children, she did it under the notion that wife number 2 would be little more than a birthing vessel. Bragging to her friends, Alyssa and Vanessa, that only she would matter as the first wife, Kim couldn't handle being questioned on the likelihood of that actually happening without breaking down. Thinking that she'd never have to see the second wife, Kim was knocked back into reality after meeting Usman's friend Kabaru, learning that not only are all wives respected the same amount, but that Usman wants numerous children with multiple wives, effectively making Kim the only woman without a blood tie to him. After an excruciating week of waiting/pressuring Usman into intimacy, Kimberly Menzies finally achieved her dream of convincing Soja Boy to sleep with her. With the unmistakable post-sex glow of a woman on cloud nine, she went from potential to powerhouse. She wasn't just a fan anymore. She was now Usman's muse and career motivation. Thinking Usman's musical efforts are Grammy-worthy is a stretch in its own right, but Kim's meme-worthy proclamation that she'll be on stage by his side because of the one time they had sex is an award-winning delusion. Upon meeting Kim Menzies, viewers learn that there are 3 men in her life: her son Jamal, Usman, and Michael Jackson. With the king of pop tattooed on her arm and one of his fedoras hanging in her possession, her home/body is a shrine to the late singer. Her relationship with Usman is a clear projection of her feelings for Michael, with Kim often comparing Soja Boy's professionalism and talent to MJ. Once she bought a street fedora for the Nigerian singer, the transformation was complete. As concerned as Usman was over her obsession, it's even more disturbing as a viewer to hear Kim say Soja Boy and Michael Jackson in the same breath.